orchestra or something, and it would be kind of a pain. I would have to run home and like really quickly look through some replays. But usually about like 1 hour before the show, I would go through and download all the replays on the thread that I hadn't downloaded yet, and then I would have this folder, and I would just watch a replay at random. I would just pick one at random, and I would open it up, watch it in 6 times speed, and almost every replay was pretty much suitable, so it ended up being whichever one I happened to pick first. But some of them were just so low level that it wouldn't have been helpful to pretty much anyone, or it was like, something where there was this one where a guy got cannon rushed in his base, and he saw the probe run past his supply depot that was building at his choke, and it was like, if I had reviewed that, it would have just been, well, when you see that probe go in that early, you gotta follow it, and there'd be nothing else to say the rest of the time, So, I basically just watched through the replay really quick, 6 times speed, and then once I had the good replays, I'd put them in a separate folder, and then I would just basically get ready for the show, and I would just usually start streaming like, I don't know, 15 minutes beforehand, and just like answer random questions in chat to build up the viewer count, since it usually takes a little while for people to see that my stream is up on the calendar and join it up. And then people started joining up my stream, and I think at that point I wasn't actually re-featured yet, because there was like a stage where I was featured, and then I got unfeatured, and then I got featured again, but in that stage I wasn't featured, and it was pretty funny because I was actually having consistently more viewers than the people that were featured. And then I would build up viewers, and then I would just start the show at I think it was 9 o'clock, and have fun from there.
This is a question that I actually missed from when we were going to talk about just like stuff that you're doing. What are your sort of future plans relating around StarCraft for like the foreseeable future?
My future plans, well, originally, back when I was playing Brood War, kind of in preparation for StarCraft 2, I really wanted to get good enough that I could be competitive with it. And I've already kind of reached that level where I can be competitive. I can play in the tournaments and do relatively well. I haven't won any tournaments, so I'm not like at the top tier level, but I am at a competitive level. I can play. I'm easily. I think maybe I'm being too cocky here, but I think I'm in the caliber of top 100 players. I guess not including Asia, because I don't really know anything about the Asian players. But I've already kind of reached that level. But now at this point, I guess my goals are, either I really have 2 options that I want to go forwards with. Originally, I didn't do any commentaries. I wasn't, there's a lot of people that started doing commentaries but don't know a lot about the game, and instead I started playing, and then I did some random commentary one time because people asked me to commentate on some game I was spectating, and I got like nothing but good feedback from that. And I found that I really enjoyed commentating, and people enjoyed watching me commentate. And so now I kind of have like 2 options before me. I would really like to either get at a high enough competitive level where I can be winning tournaments, even if it's not regularly, not top 5 level where I'm constantly winning tournaments or something, but a high enough level where I can win a tournament every once in a while and consistently do well, and stuff like that. Get good enough where I can actually be going to live, things like WCG, going to live tournaments and competing in those. That would be really great. That, or become a good enough commentator that I can become one of the mainstream commentators. Day 9, of course, is the most mainstream commentator right now. He's invited to commentate tons of stuff. Grey Torp is getting invited more and more for that kind of stuff. And I would really love to get myself up to that kind of status where I could just be, commentating stuff all the time, because it is so much fun. And despite, the thing I have with my reputation is that a lot of people just view me as a nerd rager and someone that's, overrated and not that great at the game or whatever. But when people actually do watch my commentaries and, give me a chance, I almost always get, nothing but good feedback from it. So I think if I can just get myself out there more and do more commentaries, that I can get more popular with that and possibly get good enough to be able to commentate some, main events that are happening, like, really big events, as opposed to just small organized tournaments that have, $50 prizes and stuff that I've been commentating every once in a while.
All right, cool. Now, on the topic of Orb Knows Best, there hasn't really been an episode in a little over a month now.
It's been a while.
Is there plans of it coming back, or is it dead?
Yeah, my current plan right now is, I I came back from school, and I basically just stopped Orb Knows Best at that point. I had to deal with a lot of stuff to move all my equipment back home, and there was a huge transition because, of course, if you see it from my parents' perspective, it's like, oh, there I am off at college, and now I'm coming home, and I'm playing video games all the time, and it's like, what are you doing, So I had some transitionary stuff I had to do. I really had to focus on getting a job. And my parents weren't going to let me just, mess around and play video games all the time until I had a job. Now that I have a job, it's really just a matter of, I see that beta is ending in a week, and it's like, am I going to spend my time doing Orb Knows Best, or am I going to spend, my last few days with beta actually playing it? And I've been kind of choosing to just play beta, but my plan is, I don't know if we're going to be able to watch replays once beta is over. My hope is that we'll actually be able to, watch replays by like dragging it onto the StarCraft 2 thing or whatever, and watch it while the servers are actually down and beta is no longer active. And we'll have about a month when beta is no longer up. And my plan is to, if that's possible, use that time, since I won't be able to play anyways, to start up Orb Knows Best again, since I'll just have, a ton of like old replays that people have sent me, and basically just go back and watch those replays, because even though the patches have changed, a lot of the old fundamentals of basic micro and timings and unit counters and things like that are still there. So basically just, if it's possible, go back and start doing Orb Knows Best again during this next month when I won't be able to play StarCraft 2 anyways.
Actually, you could probably do your commentaries in that fashion too. There's a lot of there's a lot of replay repository websites. You could just go and collect a whole bunch of them and do work on your commentating during the downtime as well.
That's very true.
All right, so I'm going to ask you now about the live stream getting banned, because I actually hadn't heard about that.
Sure. What ended up happening was I think it was HDH was streaming, I believe, and they were having huge technical issues, technical difficulties. This was before they switched over to Ustream, I believe, and I think probably 75% or more of the people that were watching the stream could not watch. It was just like frozen, and I was one of the few people that was actually able to watch the stream. So what I did was I was restreaming the tournament so that everybody could watch. So I had the stream open on my screen, I was just restreaming it, and everything was going well, and that was great, so more people could watch by splitting up the bandwidth, people watching on my stream, people watching on their stream. And then there was like a big intermission between some games or something. It was like, I don't know, like 5 minutes or something. And I was bored, and I didn't know what to do to entertain like the 1,700 or so people that were watching my stream at the time. So I started watching Zombieland, the movie, on my stream, and I only watched a couple minutes of it, but I got banned like that same day for copyright infringement. So unfortunately, then my live stream was locked. And it wasn't just like you can no longer stream on here before. They locked all of my content. You can't access my account. You can't do anything. You can't go back and watch old VODs. So I lost every Orb Knows Best I'd ever done. They're all like lost forever unless Livestream gets convinced to like unlock my account somehow. I was forced to figure out a new solution. Some people suggested that I make a new Livestream account, and some people were suggesting that I switch to Ustream. And what I thought about was that if I made a new live stream account, not only would I have to get it verified again to be able to have more than 50 people, but there was always a chance that they would realize it was me again and just re-ban me if that was their policy. Because, I was the second most popular streamer on all of live stream, only second to Day 9, and that's not only StarCraft 2, that's all of, live stream. So I knew for a fact, and I'd had, verified reports of this, that live stream employees had, been watching my stream at certain times and stuff. So I knew that, maybe if I started streaming up again there, they would see me and recognize me and ban me again. So I didn't want to deal with that. So I decided to make the switch to Ustream, which was actually pretty annoying. Their setup is like really difficult. They did just come out with a program like Procaster, but it's nowhere near as good, and it's really annoying to use. So you end up having to use an alternate solution, which is you have to get like a screen capture program and send that to Flash Media Live Encoder, and then send that to the Ustream server. And the whole thing is just like Flash Media Live Encoder is a huge resource hog. I often, look at my task manager, it's using like 75% of my CPU, even though I have like an i7 at 3 gigahertz and shit. And it's just, it's really annoying to stream on Ustream, but I mean, I don't know, what are you going to do? I don't really want to go back and switch to live stream, which had its own issues with lag and such, and worry about getting banned.
Yeah, I actually recently made that switch from live stream to Ustream recently, and I had to go through that whole thing, and I'm actually scared to try starting to commentate just because you have to have several programs open, not to mention like all the audio repeaters and virtual audio cables to get all the sound working and everything like that. Yeah, the producer's crap though. Yeah, you have to buy like a $200 version that actually works.
Wow. Did not know that.
So, now that you've been all calm and chill this entire interview, which is great, now we're going to be walking into some territory that would make anybody a little ick. We're going to talk about some recent events.
Okay.
We'll start with...
I'm worried about where you're going with this.